He was ashamed to call her mom in front of rich people, but after she died, one letter destroyed him forever. A broken house and one piece of sky. 25 years ago, in a small, forgotten town in America, a little boy named Ethan Carter lived with his mother in a broken wooden house near the railroad tracks. The roof leaked every time it rained. During stormy nights, cold water would drip through the ceiling while thunder shook the walls. Ethan was only 7 years old. He would tremble in fear, but his mother, Sarah Carter, always pulled him close into her arms and covered him with her old stitched shawl. That torn shawl smelled like soap, sweat, and love. To Ethan, it felt safer than the entire world. Sarah worked in other people's homes all day long. She washed dishes, cleaned floors, carried laundry, and sometimes skipped meals just to save a few dollars. Every evening when she returned home, there was always something tied inside the corner of her shawl. Sometimes half a sandwich, sometimes a cookie, sometimes just a tiny piece of bread. Little Ethan would smile happily while eating, then ask, "Mom, did you eat?" Sarah would always smile softly and say, "Of course, sweetheart. I already ate at work." But Ethan didn't know. Most days, Sarah only drank water so her son wouldn't sleep hungry. A mother sowing dreams. As Ethan grew older, life became even harder. High school expenses were expensive, and Sarah started working day and night. During the day, she cleaned houses. At night, under a dim candlelight, she sat beside the window sewing blankets and repairing old clothes for neighbors. Her fingers often bled from the needles, but she never complained. While Ethan studied at the small kitchen table, Sarah would quietly look at him with proud eyes. She had only one dream. My son will become someone important. One winter morning, Ethan almost got removed from school because the tuition wasn't paid. He came home crying. That night, Sarah disappeared for hours. The next morning, Ethan noticed something missing. Her wedding bracelet, the only gold she had left from her marriage. She had sold it. Ethan broke down crying. "Mom, why would you do that?" Sarah gently touched his face. "My jewelry means nothing, Ethan. One day, when you become successful and buy me a beautiful dress, that will be my real treasure." That moment stayed inside Ethan's heart forever. Or at least, it was supposed to. Success changed everything. Years passed. Ethan graduated from college and got a high-paying job in New York City. Suddenly, his life changed. Luxury apartments, expensive suits, fancy restaurants, rich friends. The poor little boy from the broken house slowly disappeared, and so did his memories. He married a beautiful woman, bought a modern apartment, and started living the life his mother once dreamed for him. Then one day, Sarah came to visit him in the city for the first time. She arrived carrying an old stitched bag and wearing the same faded clothes. At first, Ethan smiled, but then anxiety slowly filled his chest. What if my coworkers see her? What if people laugh? Sarah looked around the apartment like a child seeing magic for the first time. She touched the microwave carefully. She stood near the giant windows, staring at the city lights with wonder in her eyes. But Ethan only felt embarrassed. "Mom, don't leave your old things around here, okay? People might think weird things." Sarah immediately lowered her head. "Okay, sweetheart, I'll hide them." That one sentence quietly shattered her heart. The most painful lie. A few nights later, Ethan invited some coworkers over for dinner. Everyone wore expensive clothes and talked about money and business. Sarah stayed quietly in the kitchen, preparing tea. Then, suddenly, she walked into the living room wearing simple home clothes while carrying a tray. One of Ethan's coworkers smiled awkwardly and asked, "Oh, who's she?" For 1 second, Ethan froze. He looked at his mother, then at his rich friends, and finally, he said the words that destroyed everything. "She's, someone from my hometown. She helps around the house." The tray slipped from Sarah's shaking hands. Teacups shattered across the floor. The room became silent. Sarah didn't say a single word, but her eyes, those broken eyes, stabbed Ethan's soul forever. That same night, while everyone slept, Sarah quietly packed her bag and left for the village alone, without saying goodbye. The phone call. Months passed. Ethan became busier and busier. Meetings, business trips, parties. Sometimes he called his mother, and every single time, Sarah said the same thing. "I'm okay, sweetheart. Just take care of yourself." Then one afternoon, Ethan received a phone call from an old neighbor. His voice was shaking. "Ethan, your mother passed away this morning." The world stopped. The wooden trunk. When Ethan returned to his hometown, rain was falling softly. His mother lay peacefully inside the small house. She looked calm, almost like she was sleeping. Beside her bed sat an old wooden trunk. The neighbors told him, "Your mother never let anyone touch this box." With trembling hands, Ethan opened it. Inside were memories from his childhood, his first school notebook, his tiny torn shirt, old drawings, broken toys, and then a small red cloth package. Inside were dozens of old $10 and $20 bills, carefully folded, saved for years. Along with a handwritten letter, Ethan opened it slowly, and his entire world collapsed. The letter. My dear Ethan, when you were little, you once told me that when you became rich, you would buy your mother a gold ring. But life in the city is expensive, sweetheart. So I saved these little dollars for you instead. One day, buy yourself a ring with this money and tell everyone my mother gave this to me. And please don't ever feel ashamed of me, Ethan, because no matter what, your mother loved you more than her own life. Too late. Ethan fell to his knees in the middle of the floor and cried like a child, not like a businessman, not like a successful man, just a broken son who realized too late what he had lost. Now he owned luxury cars, expensive watches, designer clothes, but he no longer had the one person who loved him unconditionally, his mother. The stitched shawl was gone forever, and no amount of money in the world could bring her back. If your mother is still alive, call her, sit beside her, listen to her stories, because one day, all the success in the world will feel empty without her voice. And when she's gone, you'll realize that the poorest mother can still give the richest love in the world. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more emotional videos.